Peace to everyone. My name is Aset, Edju-Bey, and I just want to put together pieces of knowledge to share with all my sisters and brothers and all those around the world of our universe. There are so many people who have inspired me, and when I was born into the universe, I was not expected to be born, and it was just a very special spiritual transformation or journey that I have had the pleasure to experience in all my life. And I give thanks to the Creator, the Most High. It's what I call him or her, the universe, which emanates from the woman, the highest of all of God's, or whatever you like to call the Creator, the universe's creations. And we thank him for us as women. We thank him for the mighty men who came before us. And once again, from our universe, I must thank my mother and my father who gave birth to me, as I said before, for always allowing me to question, and is always seeking answers and is seeking knowledge. They were my first teachers, and to them I praise the Most High for bringing them into my life. And as I walk this journey, I also give thanks to the Most High for my children and for my grandchildren and my family from which I come, and also for our wider community. And my spiritual walk as a teacher, I'll give you a little background about me. I'm known as Sister Janet. I started out as a child, always questioning, always trying to seek answers. And once again, my mother and my father were very instrumental in helping me seek that knowledge, and I give thanks to them. Can never get enough praise. May Allah be pleased with them both. And also, I would like to say that I give thanks for all the other men and women in my life who inspired me. First started out as a Catholic in my walk in religion. Then after that, I became married, and then I started out in learning about the Baptist, and I wanted to sing, a yearning to sing, so I always did like to sing even as a child. So my journey continued on in there in my singing career in the Baptist church. And then from there, after I left the Baptist church, I went into experience Islam under the Nation of Islam under the teachings of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan through Elijah Muhammad, whose teachings we know are universal. And I give thanks for allowing the ancestors, allowing me to be in that class as well. And also from there, I transpired on and learned about Nuwapu from Dr. York, and I studied that. I was in the Nation of Islam for about 10 years, and that journey went on. Started studying Nuwapu, which opened up a whole nother door in gaining my knowledge and seeking truth. And from there, I went into the doors of the Moorish science temple. From there, under the teachings of Noble Drew Ali, who really inspired me and mine, and just really allowing me to study him was what really got me to think out of the box as far as my spiritual journey. So like I said, I just thank the Most High for my journey, and I'm still journeying, but now I'm coming into my ministry and what the Most High is really expecting me to do. So I just want to open with that, and I hope I wasn't too lengthy. And once again, my name is Aset, Edju-Bey. I'm a teacher. I started out teaching in public schools, and about 10 or 12 years throughout different parts of our country, in Ohio, Georgia, and also some parts of Kentucky I've taught. And right now I'm going through my spiritual journey as to what the Most High is calling me to do, along with others as well. And I was known as also Sister Janet Young Bey, or Aset Edju-Bey. And I also have a website. It's called Culture and Refinement at yahoo.com is my email. Also Cultural Refinement at Hotmail. And also my website is Culture and Refinement Inc. And from there, you'll venture on and learn more about me, and also about some children's books that I've been doing. My first children's book is called The Mystery of the Camel. It comes in a PDF format that I'm working on right now. It can be shipped as well, and I also have a CD that comes with it. It's geared to our youth, which is who I really want to reach, and parents as well. And that's who I mostly have been, guided along the way, as well as many other people as well that I know that we have to reach. And so, like I said, I'm not here to teach anything about racism or anything like that, just to get us to open up our eyes for us, we as a people, what we must do, and is tell the truth as I know it to be in this special time of the new energy. And also, let me just say, may the words of the Most High guide my mouth and my thoughts and my spirit. Now, first of all, I want to just enter with our youth, because I know it's very, very crucial now that the youth of all ages stand up. Most of the youth, we say, are babies on up to, I say, mid-30s, as I consider youth, but we're all youth. Children at heart, as Jesus or Yahshua said, we're all children at heart. So that's what I believe, and that's what keeps us young and keeps me young as well. And also, I just want to say that the youth really need inspiration. We're at a time right now, like I said, education is my thing, and I just know now is a time where we must seek a new educational paradigm, and that's where I'm at. I'm really into outside the box teaching. When I was teaching inside the realm of the public school system, I was, I went through all types of trials because I was coming outside the box. I was combing the children's hair, the ones that really needed attention. Some of them were meeting over my house. I held youth groups, and, it was so very inspirational to see the power of myself in a humble way, and actually be able to reach some of the ones that we thought were not able to be educated. That's why I know that there's nothing wrong with no child, even if they say they're handicapped. Everybody has their own level of learning and teaching and understanding. So I believe that's one of my sojourns as well. To venture further with that, I just want to say, once again, I want to ask a question. I want to ask, do you know where your children are? I want to ask that to all the parents, grandparents, guardians, step-parents, anyone that has children in their life. Because now we can see that a lot of our youth, I'm not saying all of them, but most of our youth are out in the street, and they're searching for something. A lot of them are not in school. And some people look down on them and say, oh, they need to be in school. But when you say that, they need to be in school, do you realize what the schools are now? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the schools one day would be a slaughterhouse. And that's exactly what we have. Whether it's in the so-called African-American, Nubian, black community, whatever you want to call it, where most of our people live, the ghetto, whatever you like to call it, we see all these things that are actually transpiring before our eyes. And so we must ask ourselves, what are we going to do? Because it takes a village and it takes a community, all of us collectively coming together as one. Also, Noble Drew Ali said, you must save yourself before you can save anyone else. So everybody has to look in the mirror and see what they're about themselves, and at the same time see the condition, especially with ourselves as a people on this earth, and how we're going to change our condition. We have to come together, especially in this day and time. It's very crucial with the new energy that is before us. And also, I just also want to connect with as many people as I can, and as I teach through this video with the inspirations from the Most High. And like I said, do you know where your children are? Do you actually know where your children are? Are they out in the street? They could be at home, but are they disconnected from you? Are they on the internet? Do you know what they're looking at on the internet, if they are on the internet? I know my children was growing up, and also the way I was raised was like, we couldn't even go outside until our chores were done. On a weekday, you barely even got outside. And that's the way I really raised my children. Not to say that everything was peachy keen, but they did have guidelines. I had guidelines. So that's why I'm asking the question. do you really know where your children are, your grandchildren, whatever? I mean that physically, do you know where they are? Mentally and spiritually, do you know where they are? That means they may not want to go to church, the mosque, the synagogue, whatever type of religion. They're just not on that because it does not motivate them and it no longer has captivated them, because we're in a new paradigm. We're going into a new shift now, and when the earth is going to change, and that's going to be physically, mentally, and spiritually. So that means that we have to shift with it as well, and we have to show our children and teach our children, teach these youth, show them the way. Don't beat up on them. Don't be judgmental. Be strong in your affirmation of them as far as you trying to get them to see things, but don't judge them. Don't look down on them, because they're looking to us for guidance. And I believe that's another stigma that has happened in our communities. So once again, that's the name of the title of this video right now. Where are your children? Do you know where they are? Also, as I was saying, there are paradigms and different things that we're dealing with right now. And do you know where your children are? As I said before, I can't stress it enough, because I want to really get that into our minds. Do we know where they are? Not just, they could be with you physically at home right now, but are you interacting with them? What are you doing as well? Do you sit down? Do you eat dinner together? Do you eat lunch? Something. I believe that once or twice a week at least. You can't do it every day, the hustle and bustle that goes on our daily lives, but at least sit down at the dinner table. And I hear a lot of people tell me that they don't sit down any longer because they're just so rushed. In two-parent homes where there's a man and a woman, mother and father, grandparent, whatever, they don't do that. And I believe this is something that is lacking in our community also. Also as well, there's a distance between men and women in our community. And it just seems like there's a big gap that has come upon us in all our communities. All the cities I've been to, all the cities I've lived in, I see it. And when I do, I try to tell people, when I do get the time to speak about it, to let them know that we're truly living in a special time now. And we just really just have to step up to the plate if that's what we so desire. Either we're going to stay the same, keep doing the same things we've been doing, or are we going to really see what needs to be done? And that's by touching your children and seeing where they're at. Also, physical contact. Do you hug your children before they go to school? Do just different little things like that. See what's going on demand, because really they're just calling out. They just want attention. The things that they're doing, even if they're out here in the streets shooting and doing negativity, as they call it, with these guns and things like that. All we need is just a few strong men to step up, and women as well, and try to get out there in our communities and try to talk and see what these youth are, what's going at them. Get a place to meet. It can be an actual cultural, awakening for the whole country for us to do these things. We can't depend on Obama to say, oh, the government got to do this. No, we have to do it. It starts with us, just like it did back in the times when we were growing up or whatever. That connection has been severed. And we don't see that as much as we do when I was growing up. And even when my children were growing up, it was still some type of community left, but at that time we could still see that the drugs were coming in, and a lot of that has taken place in our community. We allowed the crack to come in. People took part in that. I'm not judging anyone, but I'm just saying these are the things that happen when you look at every major city and small towns as well in our whole nation. So these are the things that we have to address. We need to start having think tanks. 2 or 3, that's what Yahshua said, where there are 2 or 3 gathered in my name, there am I in the midst of them. So there we have it. That's just what he's talking about. Us coming together, 2 or 3 people together. Family, community starting somewhere, dialogue in the home. Also this thing with the television, I want to address that. Well, I still have a little bit of time. And this is part 1, like I said, of do you know where your children are? And those are some of the things we need to start doing. Like get out away from that television set, even sometimes get off of that internet, you know what I'm saying? And get out and really interact with your children. Now we're in the springtime now. We're in the time the spring equinox is coming. So this is the time people celebrate their little holidays, Easter, and they dress up and all these type of rituals that they do. So take this time as well to sit down and try to talk. Go to the park on these nice days. Sit down and try to really talk to your children or any other youth that you might see out there that might be needing a guidance. Just words are so powerful. I mean, it's just so amazing, some of the things that I've done. I'm just saying, not that it's calling attention all upon me, but I'm saying we just have to believe this, then we can achieve it. It starts with the self, and then you venture on out. You just, stop the talking and start doing. And stop